Gusto ko sana, usually kasi pag may mga talk, gusto ko sana PowerPoint presentation kasi napakaganda ng ating mga larawan, ano? Pero hindi rin, ako, nasabihin na pwede pala yun, so hindi rin kami nakapagdala ng mga presentations namin. Pero I'll just give a very, very brief introduction on our measures, and then meron ako mag-call a friend. So ito si Brian, si friend number 1, at si friend number 2, si Ben. So they are the, hindi ka dito, ba't nandiyan ka? Dito ka. So, para sa mga kaalaman ng mga mag-aaral, I guess a lot of you are still in college. Yeah. Yung sistema kasi ng legislation sa isang local government, meron tayong mga konsihal, no? And each councilor is given a committee, and the committee reflects the interest of that particular councilors, no? So I myself, as the presiding officer, am not allowed to sponsor any measures, no? Because I'm supposed to be neutral. However, on the side, I have a lot of advocacies, and I just call on the councilors that I feel share the advocacies that I have. I work with them together with legislative staff. So Ben and Brian are the legislative staff that really detail out the measure, and then the councilor then goes on the floor or to the different committees or to the barangays and conducts public consultations. Now, the gender fair ordinance is something that was very close to my heart. It was a measure that I really wanted passed, no, when I first won as vice mayor of Quezon City. So it is one of these measures that I really worked hard to produce, no. So it started really, it was triggered by a case of a transgender working in a call center who filed a case because we had an ordinance passed in the 90s, which is an anti-discrimination in the workplace ordinance. And she was forbidden from using the ladies' room in the call center in which she worked, and was also forbidden from using the men's room because she was a transgender, no? As a result of which, she developed a UTI, urinary tract infection, and so she filed a case of discrimination. And when she brought that case to us, to our attention, we found out that this was a situation that was really quite common, no, amongst the transgender community, because they are not allowed to use restrooms, no? So it's actually seems like a petty problem. But when we brought the measure, which is actually a very comprehensive measure, this is just one provision in it. This provision about restrooms was the provision that was actually debated the most in the plenary, with debates lasting about 8 hours. So the debate was so simple. Do you build restrooms for transgenders, for the LGBT community, different from the men and the men's room, the women's room, etc.? Or do you designate restrooms for them? You know, so it was a very long debate. Those who are very sexist, the chauvinists among us, the older generation, the men, you know, and they were saying that, you know, if you mandate business establishments to have restrooms, let's say all gender restrooms, that will cost money and that will take away from us being a business-friendly city. That was their number one argument. No, so we ended up, rather than mandating establishments to have all gender restrooms, we came to a compromise that we just have to designate restrooms where the LGBT sector can feel comfortable using these, no? So they don't have to be new, they don't have to spend money to build them, but they have to be welcome in these restrooms. So this was how we resolved that issue. So this gender fair ordinance started with a summit where we invited members of the sector. We had about 350 members present. We had workshops, etc. And from the output of that workshop, we came out with a draft measure, the draft ordinance. This draft ordinance was brought to all of the different barangays and was heard in the community or the grassroots level. So from there, we were able to get more feedback, more reflections, more suggestions from the community, really in the grassroots. And from the output of that, we came out already with our measure, no? I think what makes it different is it's not just a measure with lots of penalties, no? But it's a measure that promotes affirmative action. So while there are penalties for discrimination in accommodations, because we have housing projects in Quezon City, so they're penalized for not accepting LGBT couples or families. There are penalties for discrimination in hospitals, in health centers, etc. Penalties also for discrimination in the education sector, and the fourth is discrimination in, what was the other one, Brian? Health, education, employment. So discrimination, employment. So those were the four. But apart from that, we also had affirmative action, meaning we have to take the effort to educate the people. So that's why in the schools, the ordinance mandates the creation of modules, and LGBT studies must now be incorporated into the curriculum. For example, that's there. We also have to have affirmative action in the labor force, so we have to have gender sensitive training among business establishments in the city. And these are some of the affirmative actions that we are requiring. No? We have a Pride Council. No? So the Pride Council is the monitoring council for this. So they're the ones to whom you tell violations of this ordinance to. And they are comprised of the NGO sector, meaning one from the L, one from the B, one from the T, and one from the G. And then all of the department heads of the health, employment, education, and service delivery sectors, no, or housing sectors. And we also have, what else is in the measure apart from that? Well, that's the gist of it, but Brian will tell you the details, no. But we in Quezon City, kasi we're very big on information dissemination. That's why in our recent tax increase measure, I know you were from Quezon City, know about that, the increase in the fair market values. And it's an aside, but I'm just so proud of Quezon City. Every 3 years, we are mandated to increase the property values, no? And that's a measure this is something that all politicians dread, no? So for 21 years, no city council has had the guts to pass that measure because it implies tax increases in property or real property tax, no? So after 21 years, we decided to pass it simply because in EDSA, if you live in EDSA, if you live in Quezon City, your strip of land will cost 5,000 pesos per square meter. When you get to San Juan, 40,000 na yung land mo. When you get to Pasay, it is 44,000. When you get to Makati, it is 80,000 for your 100 square meters. But in Quezon City, it's 5,000. So there's a little bit of a disconnect there. But because no council wants to do it, we decided to do it. But how did we do it here? We had 22 public consultations, no, in Quezon City. And so that's how we do it here. We're very big on public consultations, we're very big on people participation, and we're very big on transparency and accountability. So with that, I feel very confident that even if we pass a very unpopular measure, which is a tax increase measure, the fact that all of the citizens were informed and we had all of these public consultations in the communities will soften the blow, I think, no. So here naman, what we did was we produced a lot of these manuals, these gender fair ordinance summaries, and they're in Tagalog, no. So we did them in Tagalog, and these are the pamphlets that we distribute in the communities. So the positive thing, Brian will talk about, the problems with implementing this measure, but the positive thing is that now most barangays in Quezon City already have organized LGBT organizations that are accredited but in the city and accredited by the SEC, no? And our objective is to have all the 142 barangays have LGBT organizations as active as the women's organizations, the homeowners associations, etc. And for them to be active in governance in the city, no? So that's one of the objectives there. So we also have, it's not mentioned here, but kanina, I think one of you was interested in migrant rights. So we also passed an OFW resource center. And this is to give advice to OFW families on how to invest the money that's given to them by their families working abroad. It also has provisions for support base for the families, and it also gives various laws and regulations regarding the rights of overseas Filipino workers and their families. So this is something that we hope to implement very soon. The overseas, the informal workers ordinance, of course, comes from the team in Thai. She gave us the draft of that, but it went through several public consultations as well, and went through several revisions and Ben will explain these revisions to us. The gist of this particular measure is, of course, to provide social protection to the members of the informal sector and to give them additional rights, no? Such as PhilHealth, and other kinds of benefits that they're currently not receiving, and also to protect them from all kinds of vulnerabilities like climate change occurrences, fires, and other natural and man-made disasters. No? So these are just some of the things mentioned in that ordinance. So I'd like to call on Brian. How long do we have? 5 minutes, 10 minutes each, ma'am, before the open forum? Jasper. Can you have 5 minutes? 5 minutes each. So 5 minutes lang, Brian. And you talk so long. But maybe what Brian can do now is tell us how the measure is being implemented, and same with Ben also for 5 minutes so that they have an open forum for us.
Thank you very much. It's really hard to start. SOGIE, LGBT, I'm one of them. The measure is a breakthrough for Quezon City, and it started in 2014 with Councilor Mayan Wico. For those who doesn't know who Mayan Wico is, she is the son of the daughter of Philip Ella Wico, the Philippine Olympic Committee. Baka may mga sports-minded dito. So she's new then when we started this. But the good thing is, actually wala na ako idadagdag masyado doon sa sasabihin ni ma'am. Kasi nabanggit na naman yung mga affirmative acts, nabanggit na naman. Actually yung sinasabi ni ma'am na nasa CR, it is part of the affirmative acts. Affirmative acts, these are the things that we are encouraged for everyone to do, for companies, for agencies to do. So yung all genders CR is one of the affirmative acts na ini-encourage talaga na gawin. Of course, yung discrimination or the prohibited acts are listed already. We have prohibited acts nga, sinabi nga ni ma'am sa employment, napakarami niyan, yung bawal ka mamili ng i-hire mo based on sexual orientation, bawal kang mamili rin ng pagbibigyan mo na magkaroon ng vacation because of sexual orientation, at maraming bagay pa. Siyempre meron din tayong prohibited acts na sa education, yun nga, hindi rin pa pwedeng yung mga content ng ating mga materials ay discriminatory in nature. Actually, I have a personal experience in that, as I asked the teacher of my son, kasi I have a partner, pero laging ini-insist doon sa libro ay nasaan yung nanay. Nung hindi namin sinagot, minalian. So naekisan. So syempre, bagamat kinder pa lamang yung aking anak, hindi ko nilagay yung pangalan ng nanay or yung picture ng nanay. Kasi di ba yung sa mga, kung matatandaan ninyo ng kinder tayo, di ba you have to put a picture of your father, family tree, di ba? Father, mother, tapos yung bata nasa gitna. So hindi ko nilagay yung picture nung nanay, inikisan, bakit daw wala? So those are the stories that I could share naman, or based on experience. They don't know. So talagang mahaba pa po ang pagdadaanan nito. When it comes to the Pride Council was convened kasi the last time it was convened is together with the God Council in po. That's why na-assign po yung God Council as to become the secretariat of the God Council. We also have a God Ordinance kasi, a Gender and Development Ordinance, aside from the Gender Fair Ordinance. So the God Ordinance naman focuses on protecting women. Yun naman yung general focus ng Gender and Development Ordinance natin. Kasi si DILG, we have a problem with DILG, and until now, ma'am, I hope you could help us, because the DILG, their framework for gender and development is still women. So that's a problem with SOGIE and LGBTs, di ba? Para kung paano ka makakapasok sa gobyerno, makakapasok yung mga programa ng gobyerno, kung ang gusto lamang pondohan ng 5% Gender and Development Fund ng city ay women lamang. So yun yung isa sa mga gaps na kailangan na i-address, pero this should be addressed nationally because the law is still centered with the Joint Memorandum Order with the ILG, Philippine PCW, the Philippine Commission on Women, and NEDA plus DBM. So it's them who, so wala pa siguro tayo, baka sa susunod magkaroon na ng Philippine Commission on Gender na lang kesa women muna, di ba? Or separate organization. So those are the gaps na nakikita namin. So the Pride Council is tasked naman to become the policy making body to be they're not implementors kasi we have the whole executive to implement. The good thing with Councilor Mayanrico as the proponent of this measure during the last budget hearing, talagang in-ensure niya kung meron niyang makukuhang mga programa yung ating mga LGBTs, and it was on the side of the executive. You know naman how the government function, di ba? The policy making is on the side of the legislative, while the execution of the policies drafted by the executive, by the legislative, or the ordinances and the resolution will be implemented by the executive. So nakakuha naman tayo ng push na yung LGBTs ay masusuportahan naman ng mga iba't ibang klaseng programa. So, wala rin naman problema sa mga women. Gano'n rin naman. Councilor Kate Cositing, the current chairperson of Women, Family Relations and Gender Identity, is also pushing for the whole 5% to be used not only for women but also for LGBTs. So, yun po yung summary ng ating program or ng ating ordinance for SOGIE, the Gender Fair Ordinance. Should we continue with the informals? Opo. So sa informal sector economy naman natin, favorite natin, di ba? May madalas tayong bumibili sa isawan ni Mang Larry, yan. Hindi ko na matandaan sa Kalayaan. Tapat ng Kalayaan siya before, mayaman na siya ngayon. So kasi maganda na eh. When I went to UP, talagang karitela lang siya. So yun. So si Mang Larry, isa sa mga informal sector natin. Lahat ba nag-jeep? Jeepney drivers, di ba? Ang Toki, ang Ikot, sila yung parte ng ating informal sector. The problem is, na nakita ng ating legislative, particularly ni the Vice Mayor at ng mga councilors, ay yung suporta ng gobyerno. Mas madalas natin kasi naririnig na dinismantle yung kanilang mga bilihin, tinaob ang kanilang mga karitela, hindi sila, pinapaalis sila sa lugar nila. Pero hindi natin na-realize, tayo ba na-realize natin kung paano kaya kapag nagkasakit sila? Paano kaya kung may nangyari sa kanila sa kalsada? Paano kaya kung tumanda sila? Ano kaya yung mga benepisyo naman makukuha nila? At paano sila mapoprotektahan? Tayo ang aim natin, magtrabaho tayo sa formal economy. Tama? Wala naman siguro balak mag-ano lang dito. Maging fishbowl vendor or basurero, di ba? These are the, so yun yung problema natin. Dahil hindi natin aim yun, ina-ensure tayo sa formal economy na meron tayong PhilHealth. Diba? Magreklamo tayo talaga sa ating kung wala tayong PhilHealth. SSS, for government, is GSIS. So meron tayong insurance, meron tayong mga security systems, diba? Social security system na pwedeng mapuntahan. Pero sila wala. Yun yung laging problema. Maraming programa, katulad ng SSS Alcancia na para sa total sa tricycle drivers natin na nilaunch lamang na pinamigay ni ma'am noong nakaraang araw, parang 2 days ago. Diba? Yung meron malalaking alkansya doon. These are just programs of SSS that is brought down in the Office of the Vice Mayor. Kasi bakit? Kailangan tulungan sila eh. Kailangan nila maghulog ng kanilang monthly share to SSS para pagdanda nila, meron silang pensyon na makukuha kahit na paano. O kaya kung gusto nilang mag-loan, hindi naman sila basta-basta makakapag-loan sa mga bangko eh. Kasi wala rin naman silang collateral. Hindi rin naman sila makakapag-loan basta-basta sa SSS kung tutuusin kung wala naman silang hulog at wala naman silang regular na salary. Kasi yung basihan naman kasi ng computation madalas ng mga agency na ito ay magkano ba kinikita mo sa isang buwan? Regular ba yung salary mo, di ba? So the informal sector ordinance naman natin, nagpo-push na gawin ito. Ine-encourage yung mga, kasi we have ang isa pa sa tinitignan dito, natatandaan niyo yung kasambahay law. Bago pa yan maging national, actually nagawa na yan sa Quezon City ni Councilor Calalay na naging Congressman Calalay later on. So nagawa na yan sa Quezon City. Dito nagsimula rin yan sa Quezon City. So, it's the same. Yun yung konsepto. Kung yung mga kasambahay natin, di ba, pwede magbigyan ng health program, ng health benefits sa pamamagitan ng PhilHealth, ma-pressure yung mga amo nila, quote-unquote, mga amo nila na bayaran ang kanilang PhilHealth at ang kanilang SSS. Bakit hindi natin gawin na yung ating mga informal sector, yung mga vendors natin, ma-pressure din? Pero ang hirap din, di ba? Bakit siya mahirap? Kasi hindi naman lahat sa kanila may amo. Hindi naman lahat sa kanila may boss na pwede magbayad sa kanila. Sila mismo yung kailangan ma-encourage. Sila mismo ang kailangan mabigyan ng hindi ko naman sinasabing full education, pero malaman nila yung kanilang mga karapatan. Na, oy, saglit, may karapatan pala kami, pwede pa rin namin hingin sa gobyerno ito. That is what the Informal Sector Ordinance pushes for. To ensure that yung ating mga informal sector, yung ating mga members ng informal sector economy would be able to know what their rights are. Makita nila na may karapatan sila. And the government could provide ways to provide this to you. Kaya nga sinabi nga namin, partnership, hindi naman pa pwedeng syempre dole out. Diba? Hindi naman pwedeng sabihin ng gobyerno, o sige kami na magbabayad. Kailangan may share. Kaya nga sinabi nga, ikay katulad ng programa ni Ma'am, binigyan namin kayo ng alkansya for the TODA. Ilagay niyo yan sa TODA station niya, bawat isa sa inyo mag-a-assign. It's like a pigeonhole. Diba? It's like a pigeonhole, lahat may locks. You could open the locks kapag magbabayad ka na sa SSS. It could be collected by SSS. So, pero ikaw maghuhulog doon sa locks mo, doon sa pigeonhole mo. Para at least, meron kang monthly na so, nag-drive ka, nag-tricycle ka, we could do this. Kaso nga lang, ang hirap rin, di ba, dun sa ibang mga vendors na hindi naman permis na nandoon sa lugar na yon. Hindi naman pwede i-provide device yung lahat. Diba? Baka pwede silang mag-collaborate, pwede silang mag-federate, pwede silang mag-organize ng groups nila. Some of them have. May mga organizations sila. But the problem nga lang is that, alam ba nila kung ano yung pwede nilang i-ask sa gobyerno? Alam ba nila kung paano makipag-partner? Ito yon. In-identify din dito, sino ba yung mga member ng informal sector? Bakit mahalaga ito? Kasi mamaya naman, matake advantage naman ng mga hindi naman talaga informal sector. So sinabi dito na yung may 10,000 threshold sa monthly income, sila yung pwede, pero at the same time, in-identify dito sino yung members ng microeconomy tsaka small economy. Yung 3 million pababa at yung 3 million to 10,000 ang small, 10 million to 15 million ang small. So may mga identifications na gano'n. Because otherwise, kung hindi ka nagbebelang dito, di ba, baka sakali naman na ma-misuse yung ating rights na ibinibigay naman, na nakasulat dito, na in-identify, na actually hindi binibigay, in-identify ng QC para ipaalam dun sa ating mga informal sector members. May penalties din tayo, wala tayong penalties dito, sa SOGIE meron kasi. May mga penalties tayo sa SOGIE. So kapag may prohibited act, syempre may penalties tayo. Sadag yan ng Quezon City. Bakit? Even if we want na taasan ng penalties for LGBT mga kasalanan na gagawin sa LGBT base sa prohibited acts, hindi pa pwede. The local government code states lang na talagang hanggang 5,000 pesos lamang kami. Di ba? Binastos mo ang isang LGBT, pero ang sasabihin ng korte, sorry, hanggang 5,000 pesos ka lang pwedeng magbabayad ang ibabayad mo. Pero pwede naman siya makulong. Yun naman ang maganda doon. Pwedeng desisyon na naman ng korte makulong. So yun isa rin sa binabat natin yun, na sana soon, bigyan na ng kalayaan. Huwag naman extreme, pero bigyan naman ng mas mataas na kapangyarihan sa pagdating sa penalty si cities, lalo na yung mga cities na nagpo-push for legislations na napakaganda para sa lahat. Yun lamang po, ma'am. I hope po na nakatulong. If there are other questions po naman, pwede naman po. Ma'am.
Maraming salamat. So bago po tayo dumako sa